Welcome to the Mental Wealth Podcast. My name is Adr Batig, and this is the place where we can talk about mental health for men. Topic of today is anxiety. I know, fun, yay. Well, good thing and a bad thing. The good thing is that I have experience with it, so I could talk about it and hopefully have some insight for you guys. And then bad thing is that it was miserable, so I don't wish it on anybody, and hopefully with the information in this video, you could possibly avoid staying there for too long. With that said, let's dive right into it. So, let's talk about what anxiety really is. Honestly, it's a feeling. Obviously, you all know that. But a lot of us, especially when we're feeling overwhelmed, we just feel like it's the end of the world and it's never going to end or it's going to kill us or whatever. Like, it's not, but it feels like that. And that feeling is very real and very, very overwhelming. With that said, I'm just going to mention a few stories because I feel like I could relate more to the audience and it feels less robotic. One of the first experiences that I've recognized that anxiety was happening was when I was in high school. I remember just having a rough day that day and feeling very socially anxious, if you will. And I remember just not feeling good. And I literally went to the bathroom and threw up. And I was just like, what the heck? I'm not feeling sick. Nothing's wrong. Why am I throwing up out of nowhere? And then I talked to my brother, and apparently, it was just a anxiety thing, and it was so bad that I threw up from it. So this is obviously not a flattering story about me, but the main purpose that I share this story with you guys is to show you that anxiety can literally make you sick. Make all of us sick if we let it. With that said, it's a feeling. It feels very real, but it doesn't have to take over. We could acknowledge it, we could say, hey, it's there, but we could focus our attention on the present, and hopefully we can learn a few tools here and there from this podcast and to help us just be healthier, be more mentally stable. And this is what the whole point of this podcast is, honestly. It's to destigmatize mental health, especially for men, because I know a lot of men, just including me, just want to look tough and look like we have no problems, but we're human. This happens. So with that said, I thought I wanted to share this story with you guys, and I thought maybe you could relate to it. Another story I would like to share, just to show you that anxiety literally just affects our bodies and minds. I remember, have you guys ever had an exam week, maybe a little bit stressful, and then you realize after you finish the exams, your body literally just gets sick just from all the stress and all the tension that it's holding. And exams can be very stressful sometimes, and that's okay, but we get to learn a few coping mechanisms that could help us channel it in a better way, if you will. Let's dive into some of my favorite coping strategies. And I know I talked a lot about meditation in this podcast, and we're going to continue talking about it. But why don't we talk about something else, because I don't want to bore you guys. So let's start with maybe journaling. Let's do that. So with journaling, it can look different for many people, and I find for me personally that putting my thoughts on paper or journaling on my phone really helps, because thoughts in my head can be all jumbled up, but I can make sense of them once I put them out on paper on whatever media I'm using. So I feel like it's really helpful to have a place so we can just channel that energy. And I've heard a quote once, and I thought it was really helpful. It resonated with me a lot. I think it was by Matthew McConaughey, and he said, check in with yourself first before you check in with the world. And I thought that was really cool, because oftentimes we wake up and we check our phone and we check all these things that are outside of us, but we forget to check in with ourselves. How are we feeling? Are we okay? How do we want to be that day? Well, what are the goals that we have for that day? How are we feeling? How are we going to act? What type of person we want to be? And I feel this is really important. Just 5 minutes of intentional talking with yourself, if you will, and this is what journaling is. It's a form of thinking, and it's a form of checking in with yourself. So I feel doing it in the morning, and it doesn't have to be 10 paragraphs. It can just be like, hey, I'm feeling like this. Maybe I can do this to make it feel better. Like, maybe I'm feeling a little anxious. I could just do like 5 minutes of slow breathing. It could help. It really does help. And I feel like recognizing those signs and being aware, and this is where meditation comes in, being aware of what you're feeling and taking steps to acknowledge that and maybe get back to the present moment, get back to a better state, is so vital. And this is where consciousness comes in, and this is where journaling helps you just understand yourself and what's going on inside. So I thought I would share that. I didn't talk about journaling that much on this channel, so it's very helpful. I've been doing it for about a few years now, and I feel like it's really, really helped me just understand myself better, document the important stories and things in my life, and just understand myself and check in with myself, just calm myself down. You know, when you have a friend and you're like, hey, like, I'm freaking out, like, help me out or something. This can be your friend when you like don't have people around you that you generally like want to open up to, or when you just don't want to like overwhelm people, or when you don't feel like sharing. Like, that's okay too. But it's important to like let these things out somehow, and this is where journaling comes in, because I feel like it's fairly private, but at the same time you are getting those thoughts out there and making sense of what's happening in your mind. Alrighty, so I'm gonna get back into meditation because I feel like meditation is huge when it comes to just mental health in general, because if you want to fix something, you got to be aware of it first, and this is where awareness comes into place. So I'm not telling you to become a monk, even though you could totally do. I think it's worth it. But what I'm telling you is find 5 minutes each day, sit down, close your eyes, and look up maybe a guided meditation on YouTube. And maybe we'll do some guided meditations on this channel too, because I feel like I'm really into that stuff, so might as well. But with that said, just close your eyes and like just breathe. Focus on the breath. There's different kinds of meditation, but just focus on the breath. In and out. And do that for 5 minutes, and your mind is going to drift somewhere else, and that's okay. Just bring it back to the breath. Keep bringing it back to the breath, and that's okay. This is how it is. Our minds can be very distracted, and it's important to acknowledge that and to learn how to train it to just be still and be present. And this goes back to, like, I'm not just like talking about presence in general. Like, this ties in a very major way to anxiety, because anxiety often is anxiety about the future, or worrying about the past, or ruminating or dwelling over what happened in the past. So if we're being present, fully present, it's really hard to be anxious because we're here, we're now, and what's going to happen is going to happen, and we're going to do our best to prepare for it. But we're grounded here in the present moment. So this is why I think meditation is really helpful, and I highly recommend you giving it a try. Alrighty, so we talked about a few coping strategies, and one of my favorite, it has a lot of stigma, but we're here to get the stigma out, and I'm here to say that therapy can be very helpful for a lot of people. This is not a therapy advertisement. This is a self-development, mental health advertisement, and it has worked for me, and I feel like it could work for a lot of people. So the way I like to explain therapy is that, imagine you're driving in a car, if you can drive, and you know how everyone has a blind spot? Well, in this case, we have a lot of blind spots as humans, so having a therapist can help you just acknowledge those blind spots, realize that they're there, and then take constructive action. Take action to solve it, implement habits to improve that situation. If you don't know that there's a problem, you're probably not going to fix it because you don't even know it's there, or you think it's something else. So having a therapist can really help you, a professional who is trained, who can be there for you, who is trained to listen and give advice when appropriate, who doesn't have like a hidden agenda in your life and not trying to like get something out of you, you know. I feel like it can be very, very worth it. And in my journey, I feel like therapy has helped me a lot, grow as a person, helped me be more honest with myself. So I highly, highly recommend it. Our podcast here is to talk about mental health, and it can be a very woo-woo topic for a lot of people, like, oh, he's crazy, or like, oh, like he doesn't know how to handle his emotions. Like, no, we're here to handle it. And I feel like people are waking up. For example, I assist here in the college. I am kind of like a TA or like a peer mentor. So one of the students that I have, not one, but like actually a lot of them, they were asked to, as a part of an assignment, to talk about like the issues that they face as, first year college students, as freshmen. And basically all of them, like most, if not all of them, they had like several groups there. The major part of them mentioned mental health as part of these challenges. And I remember like back in the day, like this wasn't a thing. And now, like, I feel like people are more aware of it, especially young people, because of social media and stuff. It just exposes them to those things. And I feel like it's really, really helpful. And I'm really glad that they are aware of those things. So I feel like the stigma is slowly going down, and I'm grateful for that. And this channel, this is the whole point of this channel, is to destigmatize mental health and to know that asking for help is not weakness. Asking for help is actually courage, because you're acknowledging that there is something to be fixed and there's much more room for growth. We're not broken, we're just human. So I wanted to put that out there because I feel like it's important to say. And this is especially important, I feel like, for men, because as men, we just want to be like strong and macho and like, I'm gonna do it. But like, dude, just relax for a little bit. Like, we're all just people, okay? Not just, girls are not the only ones who like feel emotions. Men do too. And I feel like this is why this channel is here. With that said, I feel like I talked enough today, but hopefully you guys got some value out of it. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Give it a like, share, subscribe, share with someone that might need it. Hopefully, I'll see you in the next one. Stay grounded.